Hi there, this is Alex Kiri from learn.alexkiri.com. In this video, I want to show you how to get started with the Windows Subsystem for Linux 2 and also a special version of Docker. So basically, we're going to see how to enable WSL in Windows 10 and then, if needed, how to join the Windows Insider program. Now, the Windows Insider program is a program that gives you access to early releases of Windows. At the time of the recording, WSL2 was not available yet in general availability versions of Windows 10. It's announced that it will be available somewhere in May, so pretty soon. But if it's not out when you see this video, then I will show you how to get access to it. Then we'll look at what kind of distributions are available inside of the Microsoft Store for WSL. Also, I want to show you how to install Docker Desktop with WSL2 backend. This is an early version of Docker for Docker Desktop for Windows that enables Docker to run containers inside of WSL VM instead of the classical Moby VM that Docker uses. This will make the container start much faster. This is why I think it's pretty cool to install. Finally, I just want to show you briefly the Windows Terminal app, which is a new app from Windows or Microsoft that allows you to run different kind of terminals, including connecting to WSL. Okay, that being said, let's get started. So in order to enable WSL, you need to go to Turn Windows Features On and Off, and this opens this window here. And there are two things that we need to have enabled. Let me make this a bit bigger. So we need to have Windows Virtual Machine Platform enabled here. That is one. And then the second one is Windows Subsystem for Linux. These are the two. So make sure you enable them here by checking the boxes. And then you need to click OK. And if you didn't have them installed before, then this will most likely ask you to restart your computer. So you can go ahead and do that, and then we can continue. Good. So as mentioned earlier, depending on when you're watching this video, WSL might be available, WSL2 might be available or not in the general availability version of Windows. If it's not, you need to join the Windows Insider program. In order to do that, we're going to open again a control panel, or just start typing Windows Insider program settings. This opens this window, and you can see here that I'm already part of the Windows Insider program. And basically, Windows Insider program gives you access to preview builds of Windows. And there are three channels. There's slow, fast, and release preview. I've only used the slow one, which is the recommended one. And it's supposed to be the most stable out of the three. I have been using this for a few months and I didn't have any issues so far. So I think it's pretty safe to use. If you haven't joined Windows Insider program, you will see here a button which says join, or I don't remember exactly, but it will ask you to connect this to a Microsoft account. So you can log in here or create a new account and connect it to it. And once that is done, you will be part of this program. Now, before we get started with anything, we need to make sure that you're on the latest version of Windows. So after you get into the program, make sure you go to Windows Update and you check for the latest updates. As a reference, let's see as a reference, you should be at least in the version 2004 of Windows, which is the one I'm running at this point, in order to get WSL2. Okay, so once you have that settled, next step is to enable WSL2. Well, I mean, in the latest version of Windows, it will be already installed, but you need to set it as a default to make sure that all the new distributions you are running, they will be running in this version. You can also convert them to WSL2. I will not cover that at this point, but you can find how to do that in the WSL2 documentation. So what I do want to do now is show you how to set the default version of WSL2 2. In order to do that, we need to start a command prompt and just run this command here. Now, if you had installed WSL or different versions of it, you might get here a message that you need to update the kernel, and that will point you to this page. It's very simple. You just download this MSI and you run it. Well, normally it should be very simple. I tried to do this on a machine, on a different Windows machine recently, and I got a very funny error, which said, let's see, this update only applies to machines with the Windows subsystem for Linux. And that was confusing because I already had Windows subsystem for Linux, but it turns out this is a bug. So yeah, if you have these issues, then what you need to do is use this tool from Microsoft that removes all previous versions of a specific app. So I will just quickly show it. You can download it. I already have downloaded it a few times. It's very tiny. And once you open it, it shows like this. It's called Program Install and Uninstall Troubleshooter. So you click Next. And then it does some detecting here, and you select installing. And then here it starts making a list of all the apps that are being installed, or that are installed on the system. And yeah, it's quite a huge list, depending how long have you been using Windows. The one we're looking for is Windows Subsystem for Linux Update. So you can go ahead and just use this and uninstall it. And once that is done, you can run this MSI again, and it should work just fine. Then again, this is only if you get any issues when you run this command. If you just see this message, then you're good to go and nothing else to do. Okay, so we have WSL installed. Then next step is distributions. So if you open the Microsoft Store and you start searching for WSL, hit enter, you'll have a few results here. Now, I think the most popular distribution for WSL is Ubuntu, and recently they have released Ubuntu 20.04 long-term support. But you can find Alpine, you can find Kali and Debian and Fedora and so on. Another one that I use quite often is Penguin, which is it's a paid version of Debian. Developers say that it's optimized for WSL, and it comes with a lot of scripts and tools to allow you to get started faster with installing all kinds of environments. Regardless, it doesn't matter. It's more important what you need to do with it. So make sure you have a look at these distributions and pick the one that is right for you. Okay, so I already have the Ubuntu 20.04 installed. Let's actually try to get it started. So the first time you start distribution, it will try to install it. And this takes a bit, but not so much. And then it will ask you to enter a username and a password. Let me do that. Now, the user doesn't have to match what you have in Windows and so on. It's just enter whatever you want here. Just, of course, make sure to remember the password because you need it to do any kind of operations that needs root. Okay, so yeah, basically at this point we have Ubuntu running and we're ready to use it. So next step is installing Docker. So actually, if I run here Docker, it's not installed. You can install it from the distribution, but I think it's better to use the latest version of Docker Desktop for WSL2. In order to do that, you need to download it from the main page, By the way, all of these links, they will be part of the description of this video, so you can easily access them. So you just download it and install it, and basically after it's done, we can start the settings. And I have them already running here. So there are a couple of things I want to show you here. One of them is make sure this is checked. I think it's also part of the setup, so it asks you if you want to enable this. This is basically what enables Docker to use the WSL VM instead of the default one that Docker normally uses on Windows. And then if you want to enable this feature on one of the installed distributions, I have a few here running, then it's just, you just need to flip the switch here. So I want to enable it on Ubuntu, the Ubuntu that I just installed, and apply and restart. Now, I don't know, sometimes for me this just works right away, like now. Sometimes it doesn't, and I need to restart WSL, and not just the terminal, but actually I need to go to the terminal or a PowerShell, sorry, command prompt, a PowerShell, and I can list here all the WSLs that I have. And then what I need to do is use WSL -- terminate and the name. So sometimes until I do this, Docker is not available yet in the distribution. So what I did now, basically, I killed Ubuntu 20.04 distribution that I had running. But yeah, it's not hard to start back. I just click it here, and it's up and running. And now if we run docker ps, it all should be good. Okay, so now we also have Docker running here. Next, I wanted to show you the terminal. So, and here I have the terminal, and actually it's you can find it in the Windows, the Microsoft Store. So Windows, what? I was typing somewhere else. Windows terminal. Yes, so this is a very nice app, as I mentioned, to work with terminals, and yeah, it's free and you can get it from the Microsoft Store. I have it already installed here, so no, here. This is how it looks, and it has here it detects automatically all the WSL distributions that you have installed, and you can see here Ubuntu 20.04. You just click on it and start it, and you're good to go. There are also all kind of settings, and basically this app is configured through a JSON file, and you can configure all kind of things here, like the font to use. For example, I'm trying out the Cascadia Code PL, which is a font for developers from Microsoft. And then you can define the color of your cursor and opacity and so on and so forth. I recommend to go to this link, which is in the configuration file, to see all the options you can use for configuring the terminal. But yeah, that being said, this is all I wanted to show you in this video. Hope you found it useful, and see you again. Bye-bye.